Today I'm going to talk about several issues: local democracy and policing and justice. But before I do, I have to say that I enjoy the opportunity to do these particular videos, and it's interesting some of the comments that are made. I find that of course there are some people out there who can't restrict themselves to normal criticisms and have to basically revert to a slangy match and using obscene and offensive language. If you're one of those people that has to revert to that type of language, it indicates that your brain cells maybe aren't as effective as they should be. Certainly I am open to criticism. That is my job. I'm a public representative, and you as the public have a right to criticise me. However, to the person or persons that have to revert to the language of the gutter, I would ask you to reconsider what you're actually doing and make some constructive remarks if that is your intention. On Monday, Local Democracy Week starts, and particularly here in the Omagh area, we have an event in Omagh Academy with a 6th form student. Local democracy is, as the name suggests, an opportunity for local people to involve themselves in democracy and to question the local elected politicians. I look forward to that event, and I always enjoy it because 6th year students generally have no fear and go quite happily speak to the local councillor and say exactly how they feel. And I have no problems with that, and I'm quite happy for someone to have a go at me about my views, about my politics, and about the way forward. And as I say, it's something that I think that all politicians should involve themselves in, and I do sincerely look forward to it. The second issue I want to touch on is the devolution of policing and justice, which clearly is in the news at this moment in time. I have major concerns in respect of policing and justice, and I think the events that took place yesterday, Thursday, in Strabane are an indication that there is a continual terrorist threat within Tyrone and maybe Northern Ireland generally. If policing were devolved and a set budget were established for that policing and justice, how are the police expected to react to a sudden change in circumstances? We saw, for example, in Belfast recently where a rally that was organised by Sinn Féin took place outside a police station and ended up in a riot. Police had to travel from Londonderry to Belfast in an attempt to quell that situation and to deal with that. Now obviously for any situation like that there is a cost factor. If the budget is set at a preset amount and an incident occurs and the police go over that budget, the money must come from somewhere else. Are the general public happy to see further cuts in education, in health, or in any other budget that affects the people of Northern Ireland? So we have to be very, very careful when we look at the devolution of policing and justice. One of the things my party wants to see is probably a safety clause where the finance for policing would remain a responsibility for the Northern Ireland office. Clearly that is something that has to be seriously considered, because if a major incident occurs that does put restraints on the resources that are there, the money has to come from somewhere. The notion that a pre-appointment of a Justice Minister by Sinn Féin and the DUP can be made seems to be gathering momentum. The Alliance Party clearly have been identified as the potential party that will nominate a Justice Minister. This is against the whole principle of the hunt that currently works in the Assembly, and in fact the next ministry, if it were available, should go to the SDLP. Gerrymandering is a term that is used quite often in Northern Ireland, and clearly the DUP and Sinn Féin have gerrymandered a position where they will offer the Ministry of Justice and Policing to the Alliance Party. And that applies until 2012, the sunset clause. What happens after that? Questions as to who and how a security minister, a justice minister is going to be appointed need to be answered. I would have major concerns if Sinn Féin were ever to have the responsibility for policing and justice in Northern Ireland. I have major concerns at this moment in time as to the relationship between Sinn Féin and the continuity IRA, or the real IRA. There's no doubt in my mind that the explosives that were found in South Omagh, that the weapons that were used in Strabane and the continuing attacks that occur in this province are part of the IRA arsenal of arms. They clearly weren't decommissioned. So where are they coming from? what steps are being taken to remove these people from society. If we had a Northern Ireland Justice Minister, how would he or she have reacted to the event in Strabane yesterday? Would they have ordered the police to go in and remove those who clearly had firearms? What would have happened if during that incident yesterday, one of those people who were firing the guns over the coffin had inadvertently shot the young boy who clearly was in view opposite one of the gunmen? Clearly one of them didn't have much experience in handling firearms, as he had to cock the firearm again during the salute over the coffin. That was totally illegal, totally wrong, and totally immoral. We are supposed to be in a state of peace. We cannot tolerate terrorists on our streets, and clearly we had at least 3 terrorists present yesterday. And to those that clapped and cheered, do you want to return to the days of terror on the streets of Northern Ireland? It was cynical perhaps, and maybe ironic, that recently when we had bomb scares in Uri, a Sinn Féin councillor objected strongly to the fact that it took him 1.5 hours to travel across the city of Uri to take his child to school. Yet several years ago, whenever that happened regularly, and there were bombs on the streets of Uri, bombs on the streets of nearly every provincial town, caused chaos to the whole population, there was no condemnation. If it was wrong now, it was wrong then. We do not want to see Northern Ireland returning to a state of anarchy. Policing and justice, are we ready for it? I don't think so. We have a situation where these terrorists can hold this country to ransom. If we have a Justice Minister who is a puppet of Sinn Féin, who work in partnership with the DUP and can be held non-accountable in that he is told he cannot take certain actions, where do we go? And whilst I accept that the DUP would not want to see a Justice Minister who would not take action against Republicans, we clearly have a Republican Party in Sinn Féin who would not want to see Republicans taken before the courts or arrested in these circumstances, or perhaps shot. A gunman is a gunman and is a threat to society. These gunmen must be removed from society. The negotiations are ongoing. Perhaps before Christmas we will know exactly what is happening. I wait to see, and I am not overly confident that we in Northern Ireland are yet ready for the devolution of policing and justice. I hope, if any of you that are watching are participating in the Local Democracy Week, that you enjoy the event. This is my 5th year in undertaking this event in Omagh District Council area. As I say, I thoroughly enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge that young people are prepared to make. And to those of you that watch this particular broadcast and want to make a comment, do that, but do it honestly. And again, don't revert to slang in some of the comments in relation to me personally. Suggestions that I'm illegitimate, I can assure you, are not true. Some of the other language that is used is totally inappropriate. So if you have a comment to make one. I'll quite happily respond to anyone who wishes to make a comment on this site. So thank you, and I look forward to my next broadcast. Thank you very much.